Hi there everyone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a naval battle using the BoardThru interpretation of the rules. So check out our how-to video on that if you want to see exactly what that looks like. We're just going to get straight into playing it. What we have here is we have a Carthaginian army navy which is attacking a Roman navy. In this case the Carthaginians have 4 ship cards, whereas the Roman navy has 3. Based on the level of development for each of these navies, the Carthaginians have Bremens, which is the second level up, rolling white dice, whereas the Romans have the Triariums, which has the green dice. Each of them also have armies attached to them as well. So what we want to do is we want to split the army cards up, and the way that we're going to do that is that we're going to give them a quick shuffle. You want this to be randomized across these different ships. You don't want to put them into the same place or have it based on where you might put them within the strat play. So give it a shuffle and then separate them. They're going to be evenly divided as best as you can. So for the Carthaginians we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ships and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battle cards. So what that means is that each of them are going to have 1 each like this, and there's 2 left over which will be separated out, and you can choose which ones you're going to place them into. So I'm just going to place them like that. So 2 of the ships have 2 battle cards and 2 of the ships have 1. And the reason why it's like this is just to provide a little bit of thematic, retain some thematic realism, because that's how they would be split up. Now over here with the Roman ships we have 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 battle cards. 9 divided by 3 means 3 each. So again, give them a bit of a shuffle. You can do a better job when you do yours. And 3 going under each of the ships. The ships of course can carry up to 3 cards plus a general. So the general wouldn't count towards that initial 3. Okay, so this battle is all set up and ready to go. As I say, the Carthaginians are attacking in this case, so they are going to be rolling 4 white dice to get us started. Okay, and so we have 1 blank and we have 2 wounds, and in this case the Romans get to choose where they're going to disperse the wounds. Now in this case the ships are equal and there's 3 units under each of the stacks, so there's not really any incentive to place them anywhere in particular. We'll just spread them out across the ships. We also have an S effect here. What I should mention is that we're saying that the Romans also have the maritime development in play. We'll cover that when we get there. The Carthaginians do not, so the S effects will not add up. In this case it's destroying an army card, and the Romans will get to choose where they gets destroyed from. So the Romans in particular probably worry we're going to lose these ships, so in that case better off just taking one of the army cards out of there and allowing that to be destroyed. We're going to keep that face down and not see what that looks like. We'll check that at the end of the battle if they survive. Right, so in this case what then happens is that the Romans are going to get a chance to counter attack, and this counter attack would take place before any ships are removed as well. So 1 blank, 1 wound. The Carthaginians will choose where that's going to go. So in this case they're going to place it in one of these ships which has just the single unit underneath it. And there's also the S effect as well, so destroying one of their battle cards. So that's where there's a little bit more of a dilemma. Do you take one from one that has 2, or do you take one from one that has just 1? I think we'll take one from a stack that has 2, but a little bit of a dilemma for you there. So 1 battle card has been destroyed. Okay, then it goes back to the Carthaginians, and they're going to roll, and they've still got 4. The fact that we have a wound doesn't affect their ability to fight in combat. Now the Carthaginians, they don't have the marine development in play, so the S's cannot be used to capture a ship. So this is going to be destruction of 3 army cards, which is really devastating. And so we already lost one from this stack here. That's kind of making this a bit useless right now. So thinking maybe we'll just take all of them out from under here, and then maybe 1 out from here, leaving us with just 2 there. Okay, and then the Romans are going to get a chance to respond. Okay, so we have 1 wound, so the Carthaginians choose where that's going to go. So again, I think going to go under one of the ships that has just 1 card there. And in the meantime, the Romans get the choice as to whether they want to use this to destroy army cards or whether they want to use it to actually capture a ship. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to use it to capture a ship. And which ship do we like the best? We quite like this one. The reason is because it's got 2 army cards with it. So we're going to capture this ship. When we capture the ship, we take it and we place it in a reserve here. It doesn't go straight onto the board because it doesn't have a crew yet. The army cards, though, get destroyed. Now, in this case, because the Carthaginians have already had their attacking turn, they're not going to get to respond to this before using that ship. So in this case, there we go. That ship has been captured, and we'll get that if we manage to win the fight. Now it goes back to the Carthaginians. Having lost a ship, they've still got 3 left, so they're rolling 3 white dice. Okay, so in this case, we have a blank, we have an S, which is going to result in the destruction of another army card for the Romans. I think we'll take one from here, taking that down to 2, and there's also a wound, so I think we're going to place that over onto this ship over here. Now the Romans are going to get a chance to respond. Okay, and it's 3 wounds, so this is brilliant. So the Carthaginians are going to do as much damage control as they can, place 1 there, but they've still got to assign another 2 wounds, which is going to result in the destruction of 2 of their ships. Now look at the army cards, there's 1 under each. There's no incentive to pick either any one or the other. They're just going to pick 1 there and pick 1 there, and that's the destruction of those ships. So they're going to go and have been absolutely decimated there. There's just 1 ship left from the Carthaginians. So the Carthaginians are now going to go ahead and they're going to launch their attack using their white dice. And they managed to get a wound, and in this case, leaving a dilemma for the Roman player. But this in this instance actually quite simple because they've got army cards under these ones, but not under this one here. So it makes it simple to go ahead and allow that one to be destroyed. But before that comes off of the board here, let's just keep that up to remind us, they are going to get a chance to launch their attack against the Carthaginians, and I wonder if this is going to be the end. And absolutely, look, we've got 2 skulls and a wound. No matter which way you cut it, that's the Carthaginian navy completely destroyed. Completely and utterly destroyed. But as we say, this was coming off anyway, so the Romans had lost a ship, but they managed to capture a ship, which means that they get that back. So at the end of the day, they didn't lose any ships. They've got the same number of ships. The wounds don't have any effect on the battle map afterwards, and they've managed to retain 1, 2, 3, 4 their battle cards. Let's just make sure that there's a main battle card, at least 1 in here. Yes. And there we go. So they've managed to survive that battle. If in the case where the army was destroyed and there's only a general left, that would result in the destruction of the army. So what happens then is that army gets to go back into its slot. This navy goes back into its slot. The Carthaginian navy having been destroyed, their miniature is going to come off the board on the campaign map. And then any ships that have been destroyed are going into the discard pile, just as you would do with any of the battle cards, with the army cards from these armies as well. The army cards that have managed to survive, of course, are going to go back into their slot. So that's how I like to do the naval engagements. I think it's a little bit more real, and as you can see, that didn't take very long to happen there, and I think it's a little bit more dynamic. But thanks for taking the time to watch. If you disagree with those rules, please go ahead and tell me in the comments what's wrong with it. I don't want to have any less fun of a game as anybody else, or to do something that doesn't make any sense. So, but if it does make sense, then absolutely go ahead and feel free to use this. If it would be helpful to have all this kind of written down, send me a message and let me know that it would be useful to have it, what I've said written down here. Maybe I can submit it over to the Rosetta project and they can integrate it, because I wasn't sure about the way that they had written their rules. I've got a comment over there on Board Game Geek, so you can have a look at that. But thanks for taking the time to watch, and we'll catch you next time.